so irritated.
Why?
I'm tired of Seth doing jobs, bro. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Seth doing jobs.
Mimi, first off, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This is the year of CM Punk. Like, I don't know what you expect.
I expect him to be thrown in the trash. He couldn't even pick him up, Cal. Did you see that?
Mimi, CM Punk pointed at a WrestleMania sign that wasn't there about a month ago. I don't, whatever he looked like, whatever you want him to be, that man is about to be going for WrestleMania. This is the road we
Ah,
on right now.
this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is like the third or fourth job that Seth has done.
And this is about the third or fourth time that CM Punk got injured and he came back to go for the gold. I mean, he did it in AEW, he's doing it in WWE. We on the CM Punk endgame right now. Get ready, strap in, pause. Sorry.
I'm just happy that Punk seemed to have made it through a match with the real Legend Killer.
He did it. He
Oh
did
my
it.
God.
I'm with it. Where them?
Corey's
I'm
here.
about to say where them. I'm waiting for my McDonald's. Where them turnbuckle cats at?
Hey man, shout out to LA. LA is real.
LA's going to dinner right now.
LA did their thing tonight. They said, come with the blunts, come with the hip hops, come with the noise, the shiny seats.
And they said fuck Hulk
Do
Hogan.
not
They,
come with Hulk Hogan.
they said
They
boo.
with the racists.
Hey guys,
Keep
I'm
that
here.
coon.
Oh, hi. Thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah, anytime. You know, it was a good show. The undisputed WWE champion was there. It was great.
Was he
He
there?
got the proper acknowledgement.
Right. He was in the audience. He was in the audience.
Well, he's not currently a Raw superstar, so he did the right thing. He didn't bombard somebody else's show, unlike the person who was in the first
Oh,
match.
What?
oh, you
So
you applauded
What?
somebody for playing the background. It's crazy.
yeah,
All the
I
time,
mean,
every week.
I only do this because she, capes so hard for Raven,
As you
so it's
do
fun.
too. As
I
you do
understand what you're
too.
doing. My DoorDasher just picked up at McDonald's, so
Oh
we're
my
gonna be here
God.
soon.
All right.
Yeah, man, stomach gonna be a whole go-go band.
Badoo, 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 badoo.
All right. So, Trips kicked us off. We saw the promo on the timeline today. Um, Gave me goosebumps because I feel like I hit every era, almost every era. Because I don't think I was watching wrestling when Bruno Sammartino was champion. Um, WWE just does an amazing job with these video packages. I mean, they just get better and better. They tell the story that it needs to be told. The narratives are always great. Um, I loved it. I just wish that we would hear somebody else. I feel like I get that Triple H has had a huge significance in the business, but sometimes I kind of feel like he should take the back seat to some degree. But that's just me. Corey, I know you love it.
What the video? I
Yep.
thought it was what what? I
Just
thought you said something else.
no, I did not.
Okay, yeah, no, the video. I mean, the opening was good. I mean, Triple H. It wouldn't be anybody else but Triple H there, and I think that was appropriate that he opened the show.
Hmm.
Um, I like everybody else that was being shown, and throughout the video, and it really touched on everything. Where everybody that's watching right now could relate to something in that video, like prominently, not just I remember that, but it was like okay, something you remember really something from that video. So I thought it was done well.
Hmm. Fam?
Yeah, it was cool. I liked it. You know what I mean? I wish I hadn't seen it before though.
Mm. Okay. What does
Yeah, I
that
would have liked
mean?
to have seen it for the first time. Like I wish I would have
Um, Mhm.
You got to see it for the first time on the broadcast. I hate that they kind of spoiled it early.
Got it. Just?
So I like the opening, and I'm fine with Trips, kicking things off. I know you want to see someone else. I know probably other people want to see someone else, but it is what it is. It's kind of like you want to see the face of the franchise, the general that's running the crew. And we all knew if you're doing this, this would be like the spot where if this was the predecessor, we would
And
see him come out, Mr. Redacted do this. So it is what it is, but that was a good opening.
Dat?
It was giving Beyonce. I was here for it. Like
there
everything,
we go.
everything about it. Look, it was the dramatics for me. Okay, it was the LED seats. Okay, where did they do that at? If I'm at Rumble and my seat don't light up, I want a refund, Ticketmaster.
Well, they do it at Raven Stadium. It's
I
right.
need a. I
It's
need $100 off if my seat don't light up. If it's not giving Naomi entrance in the seats, I don't want it. But no, hey y'all, no the opening was definitely giving theatrics. I personally think that from a production standpoint, they lived up to all of the 800,000 commercials that we've seen for WWE on
Mhm.
Netflix. My
Mhm.
only
hey,
thing is now is
wow.
that people watching this, they're going to expect this when they pay their money at their show. And every venue is not the Intuit Dome. So it's going to be interesting to see how this looks. But for me, it was a slam dunk.
Hey, listen, shout out to Punk. He just said he this match, he was naming people this match was for. And he said that match was for Chris Bay too. So shout out to Punk for that.
That's
Oh,
fire.
nice. Nice.
That's
Okay.
fire. Shout out to
I'm watching
Pong.
the post show, by the
Yes,
way,
I'll lay
also.
off of
So yeah.
him for a little bit. Okay. Great. Cow.
Wait, what does that mean? I'm sorry, I don't want to be that guy. What that mean in matches for Chris Bay?
I guess he was dedicating it to Chris
Yeah,
Bay.
he's being interviewed right now, and he was talking about all the things he's about to do in 2025. And he was like that match was the biggest thing he's done in his career, and it was big, to be on Netflix. He's like that match was for different people, and he's like that match was for Chris Bay, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's interesting. That's it. I'm gonna say this. Everything that I thought Raw on Netflix was gonna be was what it was.
Mhm.
I had a feeling we was gonna get whole commercials out that motherfucker. I had a feeling we was gonna get Triple H and then The Rock and then the tribal conflict. Like the whole beginning of that show felt like what a 2025 Raw under the TKO umbrella introducing their new Raw on Netflix was gonna be. Like it felt like what a PLE type Raw was gonna be. Don't like I think I want to echo what was said earlier. Don't expect this every week. You may get this in the next couple weeks,
Mhm.
but don't, by the time we get to Black History Month, although we'll see. It depends. There's a lot. They got Saturday Night's main events. They got Royal Rumbles. They got Eliminate. John Cena's on the tour right now. There's a lot going on. So you could get hints of this, but they definitely built this like this is the greatest show on earth right now. Shouts out to that
Mhm.
Intuit
Mhm.
Dome. I think that was Yami, and then also shout to them for properly introducing Hulk Hogan into the Netflix era. They showed up and they
Mm-hmm.
showed out.
It's bad when even the subtitles is like, yeah, we can't help you out,
That
Hogan.
shit said
Crowd
crowd
booing, all
booing. I
caps.
love it. I love it.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
But nah, shout out to Intuit Dome. Shout out to Steve Ballmer. $2 billion, well spent.
Yeah, man. I wish I had that long ass money. Um, and speaking of partners, Rocky did his partner pump, came out, did his thing. A new look for Rocky. He ain't shaved. He looks weathered. Um, but it was interesting because I thought we were gonna get some type of movement for him in terms of what WrestleMania would look like, but we didn't get that.
That
But I
probably
don't
mean
know.
he ain't gonna be there. I mean, I
I
mean,
don't know.
I'm
I
not
don't
jumping on that
know.
train, but I could see that because this Batman came out and cut a whole babyface promo. Like you weren't just the final
Looking
boss
great.
6 months ago.
Right. That's the part that I'm just I was a little confused with that piece because I kind of feel like, okay, so with the Rocky piece and the story piece, I don't know where it goes.
Yeah, unless he's showing up at a later date to really start his push to WrestleMania. I initially took that as when he cut that promo and the way he did it, I took that as, yeah, he's probably not going to be there. Things could change, obviously, but that just felt like I'm not going to be there. So let me give y'all let me give you old Rock because I'm not going to be around for a while. And that's what I got from that.
Dress like the final boss.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still going to play that part. Yeah, absolutely. But that promo was all
Right.
pandering babyface Rocky. So that's what I got out of that. Not in a bad way, but that it just felt like he's not going to be there. So
Right. Just
So the promo was good. I enjoyed it. However, I didn't get the feeling of like, oh, he's not gonna be at Mania, especially what happened later in the night. I don't want to jump ahead, but seeing what happens later on and Rock coming back out again, that gave me more of like, oh, this may carry over to later, more than
can
like
I'm sorry,
the
which
promo
piece?
did.
Which piece?
Well, we're gonna jump ahead. We're doing this
Yeah,
piece.
we could do that. We could
yeah,
do
I
that.
know what he's talking about. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Justin.
So the end of Roman,
Oh, okay.
Solo and all that, and the way the Rock comes out and interjects, and then if you watch like WB does not do things unintentional. Everything is with purpose and for a reason. So when Roman gets the Ulafala and that camera would linger on Rock and they would cut back to Rock and you would see Rock's kind of reaction where, you don't know if he's happy, you don't know if he's plotting, the segment's going a little too long. Is he about to do something?
Well, that's
And
what
that was
I
giving
kind of
like,
felt like.
yo,
Yeah.
this may carry over to later. And this is one where
Mm,
it's like, pay attention now and table this for later.
that thoughts?
I thought the promo was cute. If I'm being honest, I wanted more. And I know
Right.
people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, what do you mean you wanted more?" Like, I just was like, to me, it was giving Holly Shalette cameo to just add visual cachet to Raw being on Netflix. But from a storyline perspective, I didn't really get nothing out of it. Now, I'm not saying I'm the world's greatest telegrapher of stories, but it's just like, okay, he's here. Bye. I was more excited to hear that he's gonna be on NXT tomorrow because that's my show. But
Mm-hmm.
it was cute.
Fam, what you thought?
I think they did the thing that they were doing all night, which was telling the new folks what they supposed to expect, and they pointing out who's important and who plays what role.
Where do you think the story goes?
Nowhere from that. To be honest, they weren't, and that's the thing. So I think Corey might
That's
be
what I
right. We
feel.
might not see because they didn't drop any breadcrumbs like that.
Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
was progressed unless he comes back between now. Honestly, I think the barometer. I'll say this: Roman mentioned January 27th as which is a Raw. As I guess that's the next time we're going to see him, and that may be his tribal chief celebration or whatever. If we don't get Rock, maybe then or at the Rumble or maybe at or after Elimination Chamber, we ain't seeing him. So there's 2 or 3 other dates that I could say, okay, Rock could be there, and okay, that could jumpstart his whatever he's gonna do for Mania. But like what Dap said and what Fam says just now, like it, I didn't get any progression from him
Yeah.
putting the Ulafala on Roman, and that was like it just felt like it had been built up, and that's not their fault. It's just us fantasy booking as fans or
Right.
whatnot. It just felt like okay, there's a turn about to come. And then nothing happened. It was like
Yeah.
okay, and I wasn't feeling like dang, oh, nothing happened. It was kind of like all right, this
Okay.
just means
Now
they're
what?
pivoting somewhere else. Yeah,
Yeah. Cal?
Excuse me, my food got here. Um, Pardon me. Not well. The interesting to piggyback off of that, it wasn't even just that they didn't really build. Like if you were looking for something for The Rock aside from them goddamn Cartiers he had on, you didn't really get it. But
Mhm.
it was the reverse. Like the last time we saw The Rock on Raw, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Corey, was didn't him and Cody have like that little belt extent, that little belt situation? It was like, oh,
Yeah.
let me hold
Yep.
your belt,
Night
let
after
me hold
Mania.
your belt, pause, and they was admiring each other's belts. They were, but it felt like there was animosity at that time. This is right after Mania. This time,
Yeah.
Cody's chilling outside on ringside. It was all peace. It was all love. It seemed like it.
He's giving him a shout
There were
out.
there,
He was on the
it felt
Instagram.
very different than it did the last time we saw them. And I don't know if I don't know what the situation is there, but I do feel that it was weird that we didn't get anything more from that other than The Rock coming out there and saying, "Hey, let me make sure that the High Chief puts the Ulafala on the next tribal chief," which could be a situation. I mean, I do not want to rule out The Rock and Roman. That could
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
When they stood
January
in front
6th.
of each
You know,
other,
I don't want to mess anybody up, but we got a lot of time before Mania. What were you saying, Mimi?
when they did the face off, I felt like we were getting it. I felt like we might get it. But then when nothing happened, I was like, okay, but I didn't walk away feeling like we're not going to get it. I just felt like there's got to be more to the story because even though he got crowned as the only and true tribal chief, Roman Reigns really is a high chief in real life. So I don't know if they're trying to lead up to that, and because that has hit the timeline a little bit more these past few weeks, I've noticed. So I don't know. I feel like I don't want to jump the gun and be like, this story's not going to go anywhere. But it felt like deadpan tonight.
Speaking of hitting something, did Rock hit the bottle and then get behind the wheel of a car? Did that?
Yes.
Hey,
No,
we
that
ain't
was a
asking
Voss.
questions.
Yeah,
That
that's
was a
fine.
Voss water bottle. That was a Voss
Okay.
water bottle.
No.
No, I'm.
Oh, when he was taking
That
the
was not
drinks.
Voss. That
Oh, he
Yeah.
was taking the drinks. That's right. He was
unless that
taking the
Voss took a
drinks.
trip to Mexico,
Unless that boss was
Yeah. I
pissed, that
was
looked like a
like,
bottle of tequila. Is all I'm saying.
that
Uh,
looked
And he
I
like
was
that
mean,
looked
we
like
had blunts.
some
We had
anejo
blunts.
Teremana.
Bro, we had
there was
blunts.
whole reefer on Raw.
We had blunts. We got drinking and driving. We here.
Attitude era, baby.
yeah, this, I was like, okay, I guess.
And people were
Uh,
very upset about that blunt. And I'm like, if you can deal with Sable and hand pasties, you can deal with Travis Scott.
right, right.
And a little like
And
the
a
people,
little
my homegirl,
puff
she was
puff.
like, I don't know how to feel because we're older now. I said, girl, we saw
What?
Val Venus ass out getting spanked with his thing getting chopped off.
Yeah, I'm about to say
Girl,
choppy choppy pee pee.
come on, girl. A little Mary Jane is not gonna kill y'all or them kids in
Mary
LA that already know what it
Jane.
is. Okay.
It's like be happy as Travis Scott because if that was Snoop, that'd have been like 8 blunts in rotation. Jay would have fell down them steps trying to get to the ring.
Yeah.
Right. Math.
No, I just came on to say that we don't condone snitching. So if that man that man had a little taste, mind your goddamn
Your
business.
business. Vinny.
Because when he holding that drink like Unc be holding this drink when he be drinking and driving.
Oh my god.
Again,
See,
we don't
see,
condone
see.
we don't condone snitching.
He just had to take the edge off. That's
Yeah,
all.
I'm out of here.
Oh, that's the best news I've gotten all night. Goodbye. Um,
Vinny's.
Hello.
How are you?
Man, for 3 hours, that was a lot of sizzle and very little steak. That was
Uh-oh. Are you coming over here with a rant, Vin?
maybe.
Okay,
The
we're
Rock coming
on.
out of his push it to the limit cocaine sunglasses, and his stupid fucking Muhammad Ali
I
Listen,
need
fake
them
belt.
glasses. I need them glasses.
Cal needs some glasses, okay?
We can get you those glasses because I got them on Timu. I can get you those glasses on Timu,
Oh
Cal.
my
Hey, wow.
god.
Hey, okay.
So Vin, we're talking where does the bloodline situation go from here? Because we felt like we may or may not have been getting The Rock and Roman for I
Oh,
was
we're
about to
not.
say
This
Thanksgiving.
was. I felt like this was definitively The Rock being like, "Hey, guess what? You're not getting that match at WrestleMania."
Really? That's what you took out of it?
Yeah, him coordinating him with the Ulafala and then being like, okay, I'm like, because he's got movies she's got Moana, the live action one to film now. And because remember the last time this man saw Cody Rhodes, he was like, oh, let me hold your belt. Why don't you hold my fake belt? And like, then it felt like, oh, we're gonna like get to stepping up. They're gonna step up to each other at some point. And now it's like what they're clinking glasses, like giving each other hugs, and like
Yeah, it was
I don't
weird.
know, unless they're like really trying to swerve us.
I think it's a swerve. I'm hoping that it's a swerve. It's
I mean,
Vegas, and I
Yeah,
feel
it
like
could
it's a
be.
big deal. I feel like just like tonight, WrestleMania this year being in Vegas is a big deal.
oh, of
And
course, it's a big deal.
but I'm that's why I feel like this might be a Hail Mary.
I mean, it might be a Hail Mary, but as far as the Bloodline story goes, like, I don't know where it goes because I feel like it's sort of been running on empty for a while now. Like, okay, so they had this tribal combat match, but okay, well, then what was the point of War Games? And then what was the point of like the match they had before that where it was him and Solo locking up? Like, you can't just keep having them go back out there with diminishing returns. Like, you either have to be building to a big blow off, which I thought War Games was kind of that, or not. Like, so this opens the door for them to be like, okay, well, he's the sort of rightful tribal chief now. But now what does Solo and company do? Because the second you cut those guys loose and have them do their own things, now you have to worry about, okay, are we going to put, God in the tag division? Are people going to care about them there? Jacob Fatu, how do we build him up? Now, does he need a lot of building up? Who knows? He's been seen as an animal right now, but he's an animal because he's an enforcer for Solo, who he wouldn't be with, presumably, after this run. Or do you just keep this new bloodline faction going and then just again like keep spinning your wheels until you've got something for WrestleMania?
I think Vin
Hmm.
has a point. No shade.
Mhm.
I personally think that some of these things in the Bloodline storyline were progressed too quickly. I think they could have let the meat stew a little bit longer on certain things. Um, and that way we wouldn't be already here because he presents a very valid point. Okay, he got the Ula Fowler back. The
Right.
Rock is off in Hollywood. Like nobody cares about Solo and them. No shade, at least I don't. Um, what's next, sis? Is you going after the belt? Like, what are we doing here?
Right. Right. And because what's next for Roman too, right? Now that you're the original OTC, what do? You're down in the like you're although you are Roman Reigns, you're still like, what do you do? Now you have options. Do you where do you put Roman? Do you put him towards Gunther? Do you put him towards you please don't put him towards Cody because I can't take it anymore.
It's Roman versus Hogan in a MAGA on a pole match.
I
So
can't.
I
Goodbye.
do think
Hey,
I
boot Vin
do
out the
think
I,
chat.
I just threw up a turnip.
Goodbye, Finn.
I think the champions are switching brands. That's what it feels like. Feels like Gunther's gonna go to
Mm,
SmackDown and Cody's gonna come to Raw.
But then isn't that
Um
just rearranging the seats on the Titanic? Like, aren't you just like rearranging furniture at that point?
no, I think there's other moves too, but as far as Roman, um which I think they shouldn't do, but I think they will do. I don't think you need to put Roman in the Royal Rumble. However, I think they're going to. And the reason why I say that is because I don't that's weird that drone's flying around. I don't think he's gonna win it. So I think to protect that, I don't think you need to put Roman in the Rumble. But I think they will.
protect
Maybe his
what?
next storyline going into Mania comes out of that, but he's
Protect
not
what?
winning.
Protect what? What do
I
you
don't think
say?
he needs to go in the Royal Rumble with and not win it. I don't think that character needs to go into a Royal Rumble if he's not winning it.
You
That's
think
just
it
me.
would hurt it?
Oh,
I don't think it
I don't
would
think he
hurt
needs
it.
to. I don't think he needs to win it because we've seen people go in the Rumble
Yeah.
before where it's like you just need a convincing reason why they lost it. So if let's say you had Roman go into the Rumble and there's 20 people in there and they all gang up on him and toss him out, it's like, okay, well, that's believable. One man's not going to beat 20 men. Like you can have him
Right.
lose. You can also have him lose if it sets up a feud Like,
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
that's what I
want.
just
John
said.
Cena
Yeah,
said he wants to go in the Rumble. I don't. I'm
that's why I
fine with
picked him
that. I
winning.
don't really want to see John Cena win the Rumble.
I think he's
Um,
winning it.
well, he can weigh it all he wants. I could say that I don't want to see it, but like,
Yeah,
but you could have something where like Roman gets in a tussle with John Cena and they both eliminate each other, and like it could set up Roman versus Cena. Like you don't have to do that specifically, but I'm saying you can give Roman a marquee match. Him not holding the belt actually frees him
Is
up.
okay. That's right.
Yeah, to do those marquee matches. Now, Krista B, if we could go to you, I know you've had
Yes.
your hand up for a little. Not
Oh,
that I
oh, oh, oh,
apologize for
oh,
directing
oh. Okay,
traffic,
Vin.
but
Krista.
Mhm. Hey y'all.
Hi, boo.
So here's my thing. One, I agree with Cal. I definitely need a pair of them rock glasses. So then I need them too. Okay. I need to add to my collection.
Mm-hmm.
So, two, I do feel like we will get a Rock versus Roman at Mania. I just feel like everything that Rock is doing from now is very calculated, and he's gonna let it boil over for a little bit because I do feel like this is like his last. This could possibly be like a last time, a last match type situation.
Mm-hmm.
Mav, f you, God. Um, I do feel like it would be good because when Rock essentially came back, this is what everybody expected. Everybody expected, Roman and Rock to fight, and that was the direction it was going in until Cody had to mention the family, and Rock wanted to bitch slap him from here to South Africa, and then he whipped him for the ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have to come back full circle because we still don't know which side Rock is on. The Monday night after Raw, Rock said something in Cody's ear that we don't know what he said. Then when
Mm-hmm.
he comes back, he does that. He came back at what day in Atlanta, and
Mm-hmm.
he did that thing
The
to
cutthroat
Cody
joint.
Roman. Yeah, the cutthroat to Cody Roman and Jay. We don't really know who it was to, but I have a feeling it was towards Roman and Jay. Like it had nothing to do with Cody Rhodes. And then when he first comes out, he's over here giving Cody Rhodes all of the props in the world, and he's looking like he's about to turn on Roman when he gives him the Ulafala.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel like we're gonna get some form of Rock versus Roman, and I do feel like it will be at WrestleMania. Not saying it's gonna be a main event type situation, but this is going to brew and bubble over until we get to Mania 41 in Vegas. And because it is the grandest stage of them all, it has to be something big. Like we know that John Cena is leaving, but no shade, no tea. I don't think I would want to see a John Cena versus Roman Reigns match. It just doesn't fit where
That's
it's
right.
going. Now, if we get like a John Cena versus maybe a Gunther match, or maybe if even like maybe even a Cody Rhodes, if that fits somewhere, that can kind of there's still marquee matches, but Roman and John just don't. I don't see that happening at all. Um, so yeah, that's my take on that. We will see a Bloodline versus Bloodline match because we don't know where the Rock stands. Rock is really in the middle, and Solo and that bloodline is on one side, and Roman Reigns and the Usos, and unfortunately Sammy's on the other side. Rock is kind of in the middle. He's kind of like swaying. We don't know which side he's on. So I do think we're going to get a Rock versus Roman.
Okay. Um, Justin?
You talking about Jason?
Justin.
what's up?
Oh, my bad.
Just give me a second, coach.
Give me a second, coach. Come back to me, coach. Tag out. Tag out.
Justin, your take. Okay, you
What
don't
again?
have a take?
Yeah, I'm about to
Okay.
say. Sorry,
Okay.
coach. I got hit me right
Coach,
now.
tag you in, coach.
This is my first time with y'all. I started following. I was loving what they had to say. But number
Thank you for
one,
following.
yes, number one, I'm not feeling WrestleMania. I'm not feeling. I live in LA. I went to the WrestleMania in LA. My brother wants me to go to Vegas. I'm not feeling it. Number two,
Wait, why
I
are you not
really.
feeling it? Let's go
Wait,
back to that. Let's
there's
unpack
nothing been
that.
announced
I'm
yet.
not feeling it because they haven't built it up right, and they're not building it up with the ones that they need to build it up with, which are the black wrestlers. That main event should be Naomi versus uh versus her homegirls in the three-way match.
Really?
I think that'll be a great match. I
Oh, I
think
don't want to
that
see it.
No, we got to see them turn on it. We got to see that match. And we
Mhm.
got to see the New Day in a three-way.
Mhm. Mhm.
I just think that they haven't pushed it enough. But they're such great and talented artists that
Mhm.
you can't hold them back. But
Mhm.
like the Bloodline is tired. I'm tired of seeing The Rock. I'm glad Hulk Hogan got booed. Like it's all kind of tired. I'm tired of Cody Rhodes. I'm tired of all of them. Like
We tired
it's not
too.
building. It's not
Wait,
building.
hold on. Let me correct that.
Yeah.
I'm tired too.
It's not building, right? It's not building. It feels like it's overkill. Did I
I
get
think
buzzed?
I
No,
think
not
Hit
he
the
you.
button again.
No,
What
he's
made
not
you
I,
doing
say
that
it?
to you. He's not
yeah.
doing that to you. I'm an avid Cody hater, and every time I hate on him, this is what he does to me. It's not
Yeah,
true,
that's
Coach. It's not
exactly what I
true.
do. It's not you,
I
but
think
we
he
Man,
appreciate you though, for sure.
yeah,
Mhm.
Bianca and Naomi and Jade. Really Bianca versus Jade, but bring Naomi in a three way, man. That's a amazing match. They won't let them win world championships. They got this damn Tiffy time BS. Them girls will smack her all the way around the damn ring if this shit was real life.
I,
I
all right,
here,
Hold on. That.
here's the
all right.
thing, because I love women's wrestling.
Mhm.
Um, I agree that that was a real issue for me. That a lot, and we talked about this privately, that there has been a lack of black talent being showcased on the main roster, specifically Raw. I feel like SmackDown is more of like the show where you see most of the black talent on the main roster. I do agree. I'm a Bianca Belair loyalist. So I do think that she has been kind of hindered with this Jade tag team. I think she's been chained to this tag team division. And her skill set, and she's proven it, especially over the last few months, because she's improved in her skill set and she's doing different things in her matches now. That this is really kind of beneath her. The community service work that she's been doing with Jade, I'm over it. And I will go on record. I'm not a Jade Cargill fan because I don't think that she gives what it needs to give in the wrestling. Yes, she looks great, but girl, I love a look, but it's not giving. And for the amount of time that she has been in this, there is she's still wrestling like she was on
Mhm.
AEW Collision, and that's no shade. And you should be further along than that. Um, I don't think it's given main event, quite frankly. Um, I think that with the New Day, they're building that story, so it is it there yet? No. But also too, I think from a business perspective, is two ways to go about this. And I think that um with this particular company, they're becoming a true global entity now. I mean, they're doing the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia next year. So I think that unfortunately for some of the black talent, it's going to be even more difficult because they're kind of ESPN in this shit. And you're going to have to really supersede some things. And let's be real here. There is an extreme high level of talent on these rosters. I mean,
Mhm.
if you want to
Mhm.
just talk about black female talent, you have Lash Legend in the tuck, Jakara Jackson in the tuck. You got, of course,
Jade. Jada.
Jada Parker, Soul Ruka, Roxanne Perez. Like there's a line. So you're gonna have to really kill it. I think Bianca is the vanguard, and she has such a special marketing and a special kind
Mhm.
of aesthetic. And I'm waiting for this heel turn because she's
I
doing a
want
lot
her
of
to heel turn. I want her
uh
to heel
she's
turn.
experimenting.
I want her to be out there like Gorilla
Oh
or Cardi B or
Mhm.
something
yes. And I
with a
think that
bad attitude.
I think that's where we're going. Um, is taking some time to get there, but I say this all the time. And this is why I think we should definitely support black promotions like Ashe and things like that. You're
Mhm.
asking a white promotion where black people in this country are only 13% of the population to care about you. And the only way that they're going to care about you is when you not reward them with your dollars. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So you're going to
Mm-mm.
continue to see things like this.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, they keep pushing this Tiffy, and I just
Well, let's be real here. Let's keep it cute.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is
Miss
she not
Stratton
good or
is the
something?
moment.
Like,
Let's not act like Miss Stratton cannot go.
I just
And
think they strapped a rocket ship to her. It's like I feel like they didn't like, especially Jade and Bianca on individual runs. I feel like especially they should have been main in the event. At some point we got to see that main. We got to see these two girls fight.
Jade Cargill is not going to give you a main event match, and that's the
She's not.
problem. If
She's
if
not.
you want to be 100% real, Lash Legend is a better wrestler than Jade Cargill.
She
Jada
is.
Parker is already better than Jade Cargill.
She
We
is.
want Jade Cargill to be great because Jade Cargill looks great, but Jade Cargill is Ahmed Johnson. And for those of you who have
Oh
followed
shit!
wrestling for a
God
while,
damn.
Jade Cargill is Ahmed Johnson, except she hasn't hurt nobody.
Hold on.
Damn.
Pause.
Can I
Pause.
interject?
Wait, wait, wait. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Math.
Let's keep it cute, Dad.
stop,
Keep it
We
cute.
keeping
stop.
it
Keep it
cute.
cute. Keep
Keep
it
it
cute.
cute. Keeping it honest is keeping it cute, right?
Let's keep it cute. Stop it.
Okay.
I'm out of here.
Wait, hold on, Krissa. Vaughn.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah. So, of course, as far as tonight, it
Wait,
was
wait,
amazing.
wait, wait.
Oh,
Vaughn,
yo, what's up?
don't give it a rundown.
I'm not. I'm
Stay
not.
on top. Stay on
I'm not.
topic. Stay on topic.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like black talent, look, I'm all for for black wrestlers being like having great opportunities, but at the same time, let's be honest with ourselves. Like DDM said, if pretty much to paraphrase, if we're only making up 13% of the population in the country, what makes anybody think that we're going to be the top priority in any other environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like it's just like at this at this point, like as much as I like New Day, I'm not putting them as headliners ahead of Roman and and Rock or
Well, what
whatever, right?
percent of the population is Roman?
Yeah, true. Yeah, pretty much. But the thing about it is that, like I said, when it comes to New Day, when it comes to Bianca, like I said, they're all well and good and great and everything like that. But at the same time, like let's like I said, let's be honest with ourselves about it. And so the thing about it is that as much as I like to see Bianca versus Jade, I'm not gonna put that at the at the top of the card like that as much as
Why
much as
not?
what.
Because hold up, you got to remember this shit is scripted.
Of
Okay,
course it is.
so
Of
look
course
at
it is.
Bobby Lashley was ready to be at the top of the card again, and next thing you know, he disappeared with the whole his whole crew.
Yeah,
They
of
all
course, of
disappeared.
course, of course. But at the same time, in terms of billing, let's say when it comes to WrestleMania, especially when it comes to Las Vegas, like I said, no shade, no tea at all whatsoever. But it's just like 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 the thing is, it's a lot, it's a whole lot that that we have to kind of like supersede or exceed, if you will, right? And
Yeah, we
so
got to see Kevin Owens' fat ass.
I know, right? I mean, but like I said, like I said, at the same time, how can I say this? I'm staying on topic, but at the same time, it's just like um as much as I want to see us, like I said, succeed and go much further. It's just like there's so much more. Like it's like a much longer way for us to kind of go. And I certainly agree with DDM in terms of like as far as like the Jay Cargill thing. It's just like pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. It's like Lash Legend has become what we've been wanting to see out of Jay Cargill for the past 4 years at least.
Mm.
And so and the thing about it is that like aesthetics is one thing, but once the bell rings, it's a whole nother thing altogether. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So as far as that's concerned.
Well, I
Okay.
just want to say I thank y'all for having this group.
Of
I'm gonna
course.
leave, but I'm gonna say Hulk Hogan couldn't wrestle for shit and was the most popular wrestler in the history of the world.
Absolutely.
Y'all
Well,
have a great day.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
And
Yeah,
he has
absolutely.
a
I totally
point.
agree.
He has a point. But also, Hulk Hogan was Vince McMahon's number one guy and his good girlfriend. Unfortunately for our girls, they're not. And also, too,
There you go.
let's talk about Bianca Belair because I will stand on 10 toes for that lady every day. Bianca Belair deserves an opponent the caliber that Sasha Banks was. She deserves an opponent that's going to be able
Mm-hmm.
to match her. She does not deserve an opponent in a WrestleMania match where she's going to be carrying them. She needs an opponent where they can equally. tell stories and she can exhibit the level of greatness that she really is. And unfortunately, Jade Cargill is not going to give her that.
Nia
Mhm.
Jax,
Charlotte.
Charlotte Flair,
Mhm.
Bianca
Cal?
versus Charlotte.
Cal and then Krissa.
The last horsewoman.
Cal and then Krissa. Mhm.
I don't. What are we even talking about right now? I feel like we're bouncing around a lot. I'm gonna say this. There are, and I feel like we were talking about this offline. The women, I'm not saying the women's division situation is there's a lot going on right now, and I think what's been going on in 2024 isn't really it's not shining a bright light on what 2025 can be. Tiffy time, I don't care what nobody's saying. Tiffy time was probably a little long overdue. There was a number of instances she could have got that at Saturday Night's Main Event. There's a number of instances where Tiffy time could have happened. So that was going to happen, especially for all this talk about what we want to see in women's wrestling. Nia Jax was a champion. No shade, no tea, no shade. All tea, all shade. Whatever the case may be. Nia Jax was not War Games, that match with Bailey, all that shit. Y'all want to see good women's wrestling? It got to start with the Tiffy time coming in and taking that title. It is what it is. Now the onus is on Nick Aldis and SmackDown and whatnot to build a division where a Bianca Belair can be a single star. Whatever you want to say about Jade Cargill, she spent the last year being a tag team champion with Bianca Belair to build her up to hopefully have some type of situation. Whatever's going on with her right now, they got to work all of that out before Bianca Belair. And realistically, I'd much rather see Bianca Belair on Netflix. People may not want to have that. They may want Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair before they want Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. There's one match that you could probably make a lot easier right now, especially with Rhea Ripley just winning that title from Liv Morgan. Jersey all day. You're welcome. But at a certain point, you got to make the division a certain way so these women can shine. And I don't think 2024 has shown that WWE women's divisions is on that level that they really need to be with the talent that they got right now. Hopefully, 2025 is better.
You don't show that the women's division is pretty strong.
I think the women's division is pretty strong. I don't think the women's division is pretty strong based off of what they've been showing. We've
On
not
main roster. On main roster, you're saying.
on main roster. On main roster.
Okay. Okay.
We've had situations. Nia Jackson's been champion for how long?
Mhm.
Liv Morgan's been champion for how long? Y'all not talking about main event matches from them
Yeah.
being some of the biggest matches of 2024. If we're talking
Yeah.
about the best women, the one match I keep going back to is Bianca Belair and Io Sky, and that was a Raw match from the late summer, early fall this year, just because they saw somebody else have a dope women's match on another show. These women's rosters are not built the way people want them to be built because they thought that 2024 was going to be the year of Rhea Ripley, and she got injured twice. If that's not the case, what was the other women's story that was going on in 2024 on the WWE that wasn't on NXT? Talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe this year
Krissa?
will be better. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll shut up.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Krissa.
No, I agree with Kyle, and I also agree with DDM. Like, we do need some type of a match or some type of opponent for Bianca Belair to say that, this is the year for women's wrestling on the main roster. For a long time, we wanted to see Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. That took a turn, as Kyle said. Rhea was injured twice, and then you had that stupid ass storyline with Dom turned on Liv, and it kind of dragged on. I do feel like if we were to have some type of opponent against Bianca Belair right now on the main roster, it would be Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton has literally came up to the main roster and proved herself time and time again. And yes, she prolonged her cash in. Her cash in could have happened at any time. I'm glad it finally happened going into, her being Raw on Netflix and her showing the fact that she is women's champion. But if we're gonna be realistic here about it, Jade is not that. And I've always said that Jade is very green. AEW green. She's come to WWE in green, and yes, Bianca essentially has carried her throughout these matches, throughout their tag team run. Even with this whole Rage Carry gimmick that she's probably gonna prove, she still probably won't be as good as ring shape as she should be when she gets back. Math again, F you. Um, and so yeah, put Tiffany Stratton up against Bianca Belair. Give us. I feel like that can be a main event match. Bianca has main event to WrestleMania about 3 times already, if
Hmm.
I'm not mistaken. Um, and it's sad like we don't get to see like a Naomi main event WrestleMania because she is a veteran. It's sad that we probably won't get to see more black women main event WrestleMania. We still crawling before we walk in this certain aspect. Um, but it's been done and it will continue to be done. So I feel like 2025 can be that year if they maneuver it the right way.
Hmm. So to pivot, I'll get to you, Vin, in a second. To pivot, what do you I will say that I'm actually glad that Liv dropped tonight. Cal and I were having a discussion as to who it would have been if it wasn't for Liv to have carried the belt since Rhea got hurt for as long as she did. I honestly don't, as I think about it, and we have this conversation, I don't know who else on the main roster would have been able to do it.
I don't think it would have been anybody
Um,
if we look at main roster now. I feel like if that was the case and it was supposed to be like a challenge happening or whatever the case may be like that, they would have had to look towards NXT. They would have had to look at
yeah,
Last Legend was on. Hunt and Jakara Jackson came on SmackDown 2-3 weeks in a row and literally proved
yes,
that they should have been on the main roster
yes,
at that very
yes,
moment, but they're yet still in NXT. And last they just ended 2024 with a huge win on their shoulders.
right.
um and I feel like if that was the case, that's the direction they would have looked into, would have looked at.
So what do we see with Rhea now? Like what happens? I don't
um
know. I don't know what happened. I want like I don't know what happens now. I've
I,
walked away from this. It felt like a pay-per-view. I walked away from the show feeling lost a little bit with all the end of with this match
I honestly
and the first
feel like
match.
that's the right now in this moment where we all of us in our big grown ages are literally sitting at the edge of our seats trying to figure out what's next. That is the point of all of this right now. Like we're not supposed to know what's next or where it can go. We can have the surprise of a lifetime we never would have seen coming, and then it works. Sometimes I feel like with Rhea now, it could be anybody. It could be Charlotte Flair. It could be Becky Lynch. It could be, Raquel Rodriguez, whatever her thing would be. It could be anybody. And I feel like that's the beauty in what Triple H and Nick Khan is doing. Shut up, Justin. Is doing or bringing back for us as OG wrestling fans. Like when we were in Attitude Era, there were things that we just never expected. Well, we were always on the edge of our seats waiting for the next week to happen, waiting for the next week to happen because we just don't know. So that, I feel like that's the beauty of it. Like whoever Rhea challenges next, it should be something that's gonna be, you know, shocking, monumental, never seen coming, but also enjoyable and entertaining to watch.
Mhm. Mhm. Um
My
Corey?
fault, Krista. I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to find a little emoji to agree with
Seriously.
you.
Okay.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Okay.
No problem.
Um we go to Drew and Jay. I wasn't really watching this a little bit. I felt like it was a filler match. I don't
Shade,
know.
shade.
Anybody
Oh my
thoughts?
god. Okay, so here's my thing.
Concerns?
Um, can you hear me, Mimi?
Nothing? Okay, great. CM Punk, the main event.
Mimi, you might be in the
Mimi,
Hold
go
on,
ahead.
DDM got
DDM is
something to
speaking
say.
to you.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I'm in the ether again.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not.
yeah.
Spaces is acting up.
I'm
Okay.
not ether, not Marvel films, but
Y'all run it.
Okay. I will say this. I love Rhea and Charlotte's chemistry. I always go back to the new pandemic year, post the pandemic, Money in the Bank, the feud that they had. And Charlotte came out on the crutches. And then they did the crutch off when Rhea came out on the crutches. And like Charlotte, is a storyteller. So I just love that woman. That's another woman I love. And I think Queenie, as Rhea affectionately calls her, Charlotte is ready and Charlotte is black. I would not be surprised because Charlotte is in the conversation to possibly win the Royal Rumble this year. I would not be surprised if Queenie came back and won that Royal Rumble and they started up a feud again. I know we want Charlotte Bianca, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Rhea and Charlotte again. But I think this match, no shade. I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way, but I don't really care. Good riddance on Liv Morgan. I'm glad that, we have Rhea back with the belt. And that we can get some real good contenders in there for her. But my pick is probably going to be King Flair.
I don't like that.
Oh, Cal. Okay, of course you don't. But go ahead, Cal. Explain why not.
Well, I mean, look, who because it's funny. The one woman that's probably going to be the woman competing against Rhea Ripley, who nobody's mentioned, is Io Sky. It was a month or so ago they was talking about, oh, once I get this belt off of Liv, Rhea, it's me and you. But while that may be a banger in the ring, I don't know what that story is. And at a certain point, we're going to be back to square one of once Rhea Ripley beats this woman, who's the next one up? I feel bad that we have to go to Charlotte Flair or somebody else who isn't on the card. But like I said earlier, they've not built up that division, especially on Raw, for there to be a couple of viable options. And it's not that there's not a lot of women over there. You got a whole Pure Fusion collective. You got a Caden Carter and Katana Chance and Lyra Valkyrie. You got a bunch of women over there, but they've not built them up to really be a Rhea Ripley killer, a Liv
But
Morgan killer.
But Kyle, let's ask ourselves a question. And I know we talking Raw on Netflix, right? But let's
Yeah.
ask ourselves a question because I'm an NXT stan. Let's be real here. A lot of the girls with personalities that are interesting and fun and, could really be interesting are on NXT. I think that the girls, like you just named Katana and Kate, no shade, by Fusion Collective, Shayna, her time is coming on. Bye. Zoe Stark, great in-ring worker, but it's giving trainer once your in-ring is over. Bye. Like, none of these people, and I know I'm like a pariah right now, but none of these people are fun. And we need, outside of Tiffy time, there's really none of those girls that you mentioned have given, as I like to call, the va va voom to make me care about them enough, even in a small way. Lyra Valkyria, dry. I mean, like, let's be real here. I'm ready for some NXT girls to come up.
Hey, who? I don't want to bogart the conversation, but who's the girl outside of Roxanne Perez on NXT where you're like, yeah, she could go to the main roster tomorrow
Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson and even Jada Parker.
to face Rhea Ripley?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, they'll
Not
all
not
be
the
gone
face
by
Rhea now. Now, I ain't
right,
say all
That
that.
all of them.
yeah. I didn't know if he was talking about to face Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I about to
I'm
say
trying to
they
fit.
not ready yet,
We
especially
Yeah.
we
Nah,
Jada.
we
All
got
of them
we,
will be
if
Jada's
gone.
a
if we're
slaughter.
talking about filling out this Raw main event for the women's scene, at a certain point, a lot of the women, because again, you saw on the Raw on Netflix, Adam Pearce was talking to Bailey. They try. You got to build up that Raw women's division before we start talking about what the Lash Legends and what the, because again, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, they could wrestle, but they're not ready to be on the main roster as a fully developed Netflix characters specifically. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of development that's got to go through before. So we're going to be getting another Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. We may be getting a Bianca Belair or a Bailey going over there because they're not ready.
I mean, yeah, I think you may have to mix up the main rosters because to me, all of the my favorite girls are on SmackDown. Like Raw is not really for it to be the flagship show. To me, none of the viable great girls to me are there. And then Oscar's out, but she's an oldie but goodie at this point now. Um, Rebecca may come back, but I don't know. Kyle, you got a point, but I'm just saying that the names that you initially listed from Raw is just like it's giving DOA, and
I no, well that's why I named them because that's what's on. That's what's Raw's giving right now.
So I think Math had something to say. So let's go to Vin actually because I don't want to talk to.
Good job, Corey. Good job.
Vin, go ahead.
Yeah, kind of.
Vin, hold on.
Okay.
Corey, I came in here to tell you to cut Dab's mic because Dab was going on a tirade. We got to shut that shit down, bitch.
Bye,
Back to
Math.
you,
I'm over
Corey.
it. Bye.
Go
No,
ahead,
let
Vin.
Dap speak. Come on. But no, to Dap's point, I wonder, and this is maybe a question to you too, Cal. Is there, I don't know if this is the right way to even phrase it, kind of like an unfortunate bottleneck from NXT to the main roster right now, where like, okay, the current people in the main event scene, your Rhea Ripley's, Liv Morgan's, Bianca Belairs, they were sort of on the come up, between 5 and 7 years ago? Like between that time, now they're all main roster stars. But now you have the NXT stars that we just talked about that Dap's all excited about, and that I'm excited about as well. But in the middle there, you've got this group of people who are on the main roster, but you don't see them that often, but they're not main event stars, so they're getting lost in the shuffle, but they also don't really have enough personality because they haven't been getting a lot of time because they're not main event stars. And it's this like weird cycle that specific crop of women is unfortunately trapped in. And I don't know how you break them out of that because let's say, Lyra Valkyrie, for example. Okay, she's not hot right now, but like the answer to that would be like, oh, you give her more TV time. But if she's not hot, why would you give her TV time if people aren't going to react to her? You see what I'm saying? Like you get caught in a loop, and then now you're just waiting for the new people from NXT to come up. Go ahead, Cal.
I'm just gonna say like thank you because like this is kind of what I've been saying since the last NXT draft. I mean, when you really look at that draft class of Lyra Valkyria, Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, was Braun Breaker before them? There's like, and there may be another name. That class is like I don't want to say I don't want to disrespect them, but there was a lot of potential, and there's like injuries. Maybe people aren't being used right, and I think that may be the situation. I think that where they and I'm not saying they were better with this before, but right now I don't think they have the best transition phase for the people who are who have exceeded what NXT can do for them and need to go to the main roster, but like figuring out how to really get them because Braun Breaker had like 2 or 3 different stop starts before they really figured out and I don't think they've even really figured it out, but they're right now content with him putting his arms in the air and then winning the IC title. Like there's a couple of situations where maybe they got it, but they got it by chance. But like you look at Carmelo Hayes and why is he losing to Braun Strowman? What?
Well, I'll add this, and then I'll back out and let everyone else jump in. I think it's also a matter of all our favorite wrestlers, like they're a commodity. They're there to fill up time on a TV program. So you also have to think about this entire situation as okay, you've got the main event stars right now. You've got your Rhea Ripley's, your Cody Rhodes, your whoever that we were just talking about. So every single one of them has to get their due amount of TV time. Because if they don't, it's like, well, why are they not putting Rhea on TV? Why are they not putting Cody on TV? XYZ. So you don't have the room to necessarily put a Lyra Valkyrie on TV and let her grow as much as she would probably need to. So like you're again like you're kind of having this like middle this like whole draft class that's going underutilized. Like you can just say with Braun Breaker. Okay, like he's kind of had this little start stop thing going, but he's not really gonna have like a Gunther-esque run until Gunther's not there. But like, or Gunther's not doing his kind of run because they got very similar styles going on in that sense. So like, you would have to wait in theory for Gunther's, 5-year peak in WWE to be finished before having another Gunther's type guy move in. Like that's the stuff I get concerned about, where like you've got this main event talent and you've got people coming up, but you're not going to replace that main event talent in a year's time. Like those people are supposed to be there if you're doing your job right for like, 5-10 years. So it's hard to get a new draft class up and in there.
I 100% agree.
All right then. So, um,
Corey and Mimi, real quick. The Phantom Bump is Pablo. They've been requesting to speak. They just got a new Twitter account. So if you see them, that's Pablo who wants to say something about this.
okay.
All right,
Uh,
gotcha.
if they want to request to come in, as soon as we see it, oh, there it is. Okay. Um.
Slick,
oh,
slick, slick goes first though.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead. Oh, we can hear you now, Mimi.
You can hear
What's
me. I
happening,
can't hear.
everybody?
I can't hear everybody. That's the only thing.
Can you hear
Okay.
me though?
Unfortunately, I can.
Well,
But
There you go. Good. All right. So look, I think when it comes to the women's division, like the reason why we don't think that there's no women who are ready is that's by design, bro. Like that's by like y'all always gotta remember like everything we think about people is what they want us to think about them. If they wanted us to think Lyra Valkyria was a badass who could take down Rhea Ripley, they would try to make us think that, right? Now, me personally, the way my eyes and brain work, it's going to be tough to ever sell me Lyra Valkyria taking down Rhea Ripley. But we just saw Liv Morgan have a whole running feud with her, but they did that so well where Liv was outsmarting Rhea at, every stop with all the classic heel shit to make it make sense. And the biggest, most important thing is they had this story. They had this feud over Dom and all the other stuff. And like, I forgot who said this thing, like, you want to be a rapper or you want to be a cash money millionaire. This is not about who can wrestle. It's not about who can wrestle. That's not what WWE does. You know what I mean? Like, so they need story. So again, if they want us to see Lyra Valkyria as some star, they got to find some hook with her that makes us see her as some sort of stereotype of something that we can run with. You know what I'm saying? They have decided that Rhea Ripley is this big, sexy, powerful woman who they want us to see as dominant and badass and all those things, so they position her as such. They could do the same thing with Raquel Rodriguez. I think she's trash I mean, what's not nice to say, but like I think she lacks so much. But if they wanted us to, you can thumbs down all you want. It's TV, my guy. The Miz has been a 2-time WWE champion for a reason. Okay, and the reason is because they write the shit. They could write anybody into any roles they want to. So that's the point, is like if they wanted us to think that um any of these women were any good, they just have them start winning matches. That's how it works. That's how it works. So like all I'm saying is they haven't built up none of these other women. It's not because they can't perform. It's because they wanted to make sure that we think Rhea is the best thing. And that's why they haven't given none of these other women the shine they could. I think EO, if they ever needed somebody to fill a spot, listen, I think EO is probably the best in-ring performer since Daniel Bryan. Like she's so good, bro. She's so good. She can do anything, and she don't even cut promos. Like, but instead they wanted to go with the drama of the Liv and the Dom and the Rhea and all of that. So The point is they can always build people up if they want to. There's plenty of people who can wrestle. I don't think the wrestling is the problem. Like Jade's not a great wrestler, but if they wanted us to think Jade was a big deal, they'd give her the Goldberg treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it is what it is.
Hmm.
Thanks. We appreciate you as always. Um, Go ahead, Phantom Bump, because I know you've been waiting. Go ahead.
Pablo, go ahead.
Yo, thanks for letting me come up. I wanted to say, I think a thing people aren't considering is just how much they lost from that main event scene over the last 4 to 5 years. Like, Becky's gone, Charlotte gets hurt, Sasha Banks leaves the promotion, and at that time when all those women were there, they brought up Rhea, Raquel, and Bianca to be their next opponents, new people. Raquel, unfortunately, is not the same Raquel from NXT, so that was kind of lost. Plus, she was out with her skin issue. Bianca and Rhea, they're trying to keep them away from each other because they touch so much in NXT. So now it's just at a point where they weren't planning to have this depleted of a roster when this like started in like 2020 pandemic time, plus the pandemic also. And now they have to like kind of reload the clip. And all those girls, Jakara, Lash, Jada Parker, they're in NXT trying to be the next one, but they're still trying to replace. Like, three of the four horsewomen are gone. Like, they're just not there, and we don't know when we're getting any of them back. Sure, Charlotte's coming soon. I already know that is, but we don't know when Becky's re-signing that contract, or if she is. People also forget she was pregnant. She's gonna be moving different for a while. Like, we just don't know. And the truth is, right now, when those women also left, there was no mid card for those women. They were just lazily booked tag titles where they were throwing makeshift teams together, and nobody was really getting TV time either unless they were in the main event. So like, they're trying to reshift, and I think unfortunately we're gonna be dragging out for a little while they try to reload this clip of some kind of bad matchups between women. But at the same time, we say all this, and then we've got someone like Chelsea Green, who's probably the best character in WWE right now. Like, absolutely just killing it right now on that level. And then, I mean, the Intercontinental Championship could really make a Dakota Kai. Sure, she's been hurt before and things like that, but like, it could be an important moment for her. And I'm just saying, like, I think we got to consider how much they lost and how much they weren't prepared to lose all them people. And now we're gonna have to give them some space to rebuild it before they probably let Rhea and Bianca touch or anything like that.
Appreciate you, Pablo. Thank you. Go ahead, Sam.
Yo, I feel like Main Man was on it a little bit. Like, yes, you are going to. They can kind of point you toward the direction of who the people they think should be next. The problem is that has to be met by that person with their performance. And to be honest, other than Rhea Ripley, other than a Bianca Belair, there are no viable main event contenders for WrestleMania that we see week to week on TV right now. And we're at a point now where it's too late to bring new people that aren't like already established. So all them NXT folks that are like, this isn't the time for potential. We need you got to play the hits now. It's Thanksgiving, baby. Don't nobody want to try the goddamn experimental meal. You got to come with the goddamn turkey and mashed potatoes and dressing now.
Yeah, you absolutely do. I appreciate you, fam. Thank you. Um, Before I move on to the next topic, does anybody have anything to say on this before I move on?
Chris.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well.
Chris, what's
Um,
going on?
what's up, y'all? I just wanted to add on to what Phantom was saying, because I think that's the key point to everything. Going back to some of the conversation earlier, where it feels like everybody has questions as like, where do we go from here? Tonight was the reset. Tonight was the restart for everything. So tonight is the beginning point to where all of that stuff can be built up for that. I felt like tonight was designed for all the people who are going to watch WWE for the first time in a long time, or maybe the first time ever, to have a starting point. And then we're going to start getting answers. Then we're going to start having people built up. Then we're going to have more time. I guess I would hope to have more time to build up some of these stars. And now that they have mid card titles for the women, now you can start telling more of these stories that actually mean something, that go after something. So I think that point kind of ties up all of the questions that we've had from today. That's what today felt like for me. But thank y'all, man. I love this. Love this platform. Love y'all. Hope y'all doing well.
Thanks,
I
Chris.
just want to follow up on that.
Appreciate you.
I think I just want to say I think that he's 100% right on that. Like tonight was very much designed for new audience, which is, by the way, this is something that WWE does so well. Is they will put on a show where if you haven't watched in years or if you're watching for the first time, you left tonight's show knowing, hey, we got The Rock, we got Cody Rhodes, we got all these people you see in the audience who are big. Their names you should know. But check this out. Look how fly Jey Uso's audience entrance is. Oh, we got stars. We got Travis Scott. You need to know Roman Reigns is the top of the top. You need to know he's in this thing where all this stuff goes on with all these people. And you know what I mean? Like they very much made sure that you know if you never watched before, or if you a lapsed fan and you came back and you watched just tonight because you heard all this, promotion about the Netflix deal, that you understand Rhea Ripley's a big deal. You understand, you know what I mean? Who just, Drew McIntyre, all the people who got ring time tonight are the people who are the forward facing people of the company. And I thought that was just really dope. Like their production, um, all the production tonight was flawless, like outstanding. Like I mean, like I'm a TV producer by trade, so like I couldn't not notice like even the screen before the show was starting. That shit was ridiculous, man. Like it's just the production, the whole deal tonight was a great intro to people who either haven't been watching or are watching for the first time. Like that's just a really really dope job.
Thanks, Monet.
I just want because y'all were talking about the women's vision. I just want to say those mid card titles. And a couple of people brought them up. Like, I think those are like they're like the most important thing that you could ever inject into that division because I think when they're like I was saying, like there are stars who come to the main roster like your Rhea's and Bianca's, and then you have recently like a Tiffany Stratton where like they just transition very well where you could easily just slot them in the main event. But I think when you have mid carders like Lyra and like a Zoe Stark and people like that, it's like they don't transition as well. And so I think, especially from a character standpoint, and I think they never really get that chance to like grow. So I think having that mid card title and allowing them to get wins against each other and give them opportunities to build that character and things like that before maybe you can build them up to be a main eventer because everybody isn't so easily able to just transition into the main event like those other women that are named. So I do think the mid card titles, I think those will be very beneficial for the women's division. I think that's why they've just been needed for a very long time because it's just like you're not good because like they had women challenge like the main eventers and you just know they're never gonna win. And a lot of times they just beat them and they just go back to the main card and they just kind of dwell. And it's like and they never get to gain that momentum. So I think if they use them properly, I think you could use those mid card titles to allow a lot of those women to gain momentum and kind of push them into the main event if you feel like they're ready.
Appreciate that, Monet. Thank you. Um, Anybody else on the women's division before I move on? This has been great, by the way. Justin, go ahead.
I mean, you guys have had some valid points. I know I've been sitting back and listening to everyone get their takes off and everything. So I've just been evaluating. I'm very curious to see what happens with Rumble because you guys have been on it with the imbalance of the rosters, especially Raw and SmackDown. Raw has been for since summer. It's been basically the living Rhea show, and everyone else is taking like 3 steps back until they introduce that mid card title. SmackDown feels like there's more juice there where you have Tiffany and Nia and Bailey and Naomi, Bianca, and all that. Going into Rumble, I'm really curious. I think whoever wins Rumble is going to go after Rhea. If it's Charlotte, I'm even more intrigued to see how Charlotte looks in ring because that wasn't just a minor injury. That was an ACL, MCL, meniscus. That is very significant and it's going to take a while. I think of when Bailey came back from the ACL after a year, and it took months for Bailey to be Bailey again in the ring. So if Charlotte comes back, is she really going to be Charlotte? Is she going to look because that's going to be completely different? We've never seen Charlotte have this type of injury, and Monet put it perfect too. Like the best thing that happened to this division was the mid card because one thing you could definitely jump on Triple H and the lack of booking is the inconsistency of that tag team division, where you put them together, you have them go after Bianca and Jade. or whoever's the title holders, and then you kind of haphazardly either break them up or they just disappear from TV. And sometimes it's injuries, but a lot of that's also like you're not consistent. And that needs to do better going into WrestleMania season and also post WrestleMania. Like they need to really figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Wanted to shift gears a little bit, and I did notice. Well, not notice. I mean, it was clearly obvious. The way this was kind of booked to me, was kind of alluded to earlier, but the way the show kind of came off was it was sort of a show and tell type of show. That hey, this is what we have. This is what we bring to the table. This is who watches. Um, Even with the booking of it, that all the baby faces went over, and I know Seth's a baby face too, but all of the baby faces went over, and I really was like, okay, this. Once I got to the end of that, I was like, okay, this show really is a showcase kind of to get people who who may have been fans or weren't or fans and that came back or whatnot to really watch this. I thought it was really cool with the inclusion with Jey Uso and Travis Scott. This was one of those situations where it was a hey, we have this, but look at this guy talking about Jey Uso because this is the guy that we are pushing forward for this, not only as far as a prominent position in the company anyway, but also the fan experience. And as we're on here right now, I'm also in the background listening to Triple H at the press conference, and he's talking about how he said Travis Scott came back through Gorilla and talked about how that was such a unique experience, such a cool experience, like better than like any or different from any concert or anything like that. And Triple H was talking about how that was cool to hear. And like I said, just to allude to what has been already being said in here is that this really was like a hey, this is what WWE is bringing to the table now with Netflix. Justin.
I think you put it perfect, which is the WWE putting their best foot forward, especially that I'm seeing on the timeline, like celebrities that I didn't even know into wrestling are actually pulling up to this show, or
Mm-hmm.
like people from sports Twitter, from hip hop Twitter, like, oh, y'all really paying attention to this wrestling shit. Maybe we should tune in. And like this was like their way of grabbing people that only tune in for a big four, only tune in for like a rumble or mania, or even don't watch wrestling. I saw a good discourse on this where it's like, oh shit, I didn't even know you're paying attention to this. So they did a very good job with that, and I thought it was also strategic to do that at Intuit Dome because the visuals of that was just
Mm-hmm.
very stunning. DDM put it perfect though. Like, don't get too comfortable because a newly built $2 billion stadium in Los Angeles is one thing, but when they pull up to Spokane, Washington, or Topeka, Kansas, or some other of these, Lafayette, Louisiana, you ain't gonna be getting this type of production in this type of arena. So to kind
You
of
know
temper
what's crazy,
expectations.
Justin? I don't know if they're pulling up to those places like that anymore. Too much. It's weird as it is to say, are we getting these, kind of these not metropolis type cities anymore? Because it's looking now the way the house show scene has dried up with them for right now, as far as through Mania and they're going to Europe, but the towns they're hitting Toronto, Buffalo, uh, DC, Philly, uh, Indy for the Rumble, and then they're hitting Cleveland, and they're hit like it ain't too many, like you just mentioned, your Spokanes and Lafayette's, and it ain't too many of them on the docket no more. So it's kind of looking like not that there's anything wrong with these cities, but those cities were cities they were hitting during their house show market, and it just looks like we're in a new WWE where unless you're gonna drive to one of these towns, one of these bigger towns. Like if you're living in the Spokane, I don't know what the distance from Spokane to Seattle is per se, but unless you're willing to go to a town like that, it's not going to be like what it used to be 10, 15 years ago where WWE comes to your town. Like for us, Justin, in this area, they were hitting Showplace Arena in Upper Marlboro for house shows. We ain't getting that no more like that around here, I don't think. That's what it feels like to me. I could be wrong, but I don't think we're getting that anymore. I really don't.
I
Go
think
ahead,
you're.
Cal. Oh, I'm sorry. What's Justin? What'd you say?
I was gonna say, I think you're right that they're gonna be very select on what cities they go to and which ones they
Mm-hmm.
don't. Because even though we live in DC, how many times have they told us, "Yo, drive your asses an hour to Baltimore because we rather run Baltimore over DC."
Yeah, absolutely. Cal.
I mean, don't they're doing Madison Square Garden in March?
Yes,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
And I think some of the stories that have been coming out over the last couple of months are kind of they're falling into it. You know, the idea that I forget. I don't want to say it's factor, but they were saying that they were going to be doing less of the smaller markets going forward in the
Yep.
future. And the other story that always cracks me up is that there was rumors in the dirt sheets that the talent were frustrated that they weren't able to get as many tickets as they normally get for some of these shows. And the reason that they're getting back is that WWE is just saying, hey, we're a hotter ticket right now. You kind of got to deal with it. So, nah, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it sounds like they're again, they announced today, and I don't know how much we can even get into stuff like this, but they're going to Saudi Arabia for the Rumble in 2026. Like,
Right.
they're going to Vegas for Mania in April. Like, they're at a certain point, I think they're kind of smelling they're smelling themselves, and they're realizing how much money they can really command in some of these situations, and they're going to chase those bags as opposed to trying to chase areas where they can get the most amount of WWE universe and capacity.
Yep. I don't think we live in an era where, it felt like at one point when we were when WWE was under Vince McMahon, it felt like he just wanted to make sure the exposure of the product was there, so he hit all of these towns to say, hey, let's bring it to this town so ABCXYZ family can see WWE. Now, like you just mentioned, they're at a point where the ticket is so hot for WWE. Whatever they were doing to make exposure and make these towns for extra money for house shows, it's almost like, and granted, all money coming in is money. Like, but it's almost like they don't even need to do the house shows for the extra revenue. Like, I mean, tonight they said it was the highest grossing arena, event that they've had ever. So if they're making money like that, and yeah, as people have, some people have complained about it and some people haven't. I mean, ticket prices are higher. They're few and far between, like we mentioned just now for these events. They're hitting these towns and they're like, listen, either you're coming to it or the ABC XYZ family over here, they're going to come and they live in this town. And it's not to alienate, at least I don't think it is, to alienate any people that live in these smaller towns, but they realize they are at a position where they don't have to put the physical legwork in of hitting A, B, and C towns where they can hit just some of the B towns, but hit these A towns and hit it at these prices, and they're good.
I agree. I think I think that they are truly, I mean, they were a global company before, but
Right.
as far as their presentation and the events that they're doing, they are truly a global company now.
Yep.
And um people he's not regarded well, but I think Vince McMahon was the door blocker of them not going to this place.
Right.
I
Hmm.
think Vince was very responsible for, we're going to keep it here. This is cute. We'll go over to Saudi Arabia a few times, but now it's truly global. I think it
Hmm.
is sad though, because
Hmm.
for those fans who sat
Yeah.
through them in the ruthless aggression era and in times when things were not great, it's
Hmm.
unfortunate that those people will not be able to afford. I was looking at WrestleMania tickets and I'm like, I'm a single man
Hmm.
with, two incomes and I can do this. But I'm looking like, if I had children, this is just not an option for me at this point. Which
Okay, I didn't do that, but
Oh, my bad. I hit that on accident. Keep going.
sorry, Dan. Go
oh
ahead.
no, I'm sorry.
I didn't.
The bad thing is I'm like, oh, I know I ran. I'm sorry.
No,
Maybe that was the
no, no,
horn.
no, no, no. Go
Um
ahead.
I think the flip side to that is it presents a great opportunity for independent promotions to ride off of the popularity and the new surge of WWE reemerging in pop culture in a different way, for indie promotions to piggyback off of that, and for
Yep.
parents to be able to say, hey, I know we can't get to the Royal Rumble, but Maryland Championship Wrestling is putting on a great event tonight. Let's go to that. And just to give you full disclosure, I went to a Maryland Championship event with
Yep.
Fam and Cal, seasons beatings like last week or the week
Mm-hmm.
before,
Yep.
and it was packed.
Oh yeah,
So
it is. Yep.
the appetite is there for that, but no shade. WWE, they Taylor Swift level when it comes to this now.
Yeah.
So you gonna have to kick. I just looked on WWE Shop. Tiffany Stratton stuff, for as much as we want to talk about her, all the big boy sizes, them bitches is gone. I wanted the
Yeah.
varsity jacket, that shit is gone. Her championship belt signed, they only got 4 of them motherfuckers left. It is a new day, and if you can't afford it, it's like the NBA and Super Bowl. You'll be watching on TV with the rest of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I kept looking at it. I'm like, oh, I don't know how long I'm gonna keep being able to go to Mania. Like I'm going this year, but it's like again, like in that situation where I don't have kids or anything like that right now, so I can do that. But it's gonna be like, man, how long? Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way: if they go to London, I'm definitely doing that, and I'll just not go to anything else for the year. But nonetheless, like to piggyback off what Dap is saying, yeah, it is getting to where Taylor Swift level is a perfect way of mentioning that. It is getting to where either you can get to the show or you can't. That's not anybody counting anybody's coins or anything, but that's the reality. That's just where we are at this point.
Yeah,
Justin,
I'm sorry. Can I jump in a
oh,
second?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Slick. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah,
It's
no,
fine.
I just wanted to piggyback the same thing you guys are talking about because I felt like I kind of noticed this probably about maybe a year or two ago, and it just for me, my kids are 6 and 9, and so I was really excited for them to start getting into wrestling, and like one of the things that I really wanted to do for them was like go to like the house show and get like the seats right by ringside, and them to be the kids that was getting shit handed out to them and stuff like that, high fiving the wrestlers. And like right around that time, you know what I mean, is when the prices went through the roof. And they even stopped coming to like, I live in Connecticut, so like Bridgeport, the Harbor Yard Arena where they play NXT sometimes now. Like I was there, I took my nephews there the night that Edge retired originally. And that shit was so
Mm-hmm.
dope because that was my nephew's favorite wrestler. And I was like, man, that's so dope for him. But like even going to that show, right? Like I got off work, went and scooped them up, and the tickets was like $15 a piece. You know what I mean? We was
Yep.
at like the top row, but it's a small arena. It's no bad seats in there, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like that shit just don't exist no more. You know what I mean? And I hate that because like on some level, while I'm happy for whatever it means for the business and the wrestlers can make the money, yada 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 yada, you pricing out the people who you built your business off of. You know what I mean? Like that shit to me is trash. But I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But that shit is trash. One more thing. Did y'all talk about Hulk Hogan yet? Because that shit made my heart smile.
I
They
mean, it's
booed
been
that nigga out
sprinkled
the
in
building.
throughout. I mean, I don't even think we know what happened. I
Does
don't even
that
think we
really
need to
need an
even go there.
explanation? Like, we don't fuck with you. We don't like Triple H.
Oh, it
We've
was
made this
beautiful.
abundantly clear. We don't want him on TV. And the more you put him on TV, the more we're gonna do shit like this and make this clear.
Yes.
Like, get him
They
off.
shadowed that nigga in front of the whole Netflix. Oh, it
Yeah,
was amazing.
yeah. Um, last time before we get off, because we've been rolling, we appreciate everybody being on here. Wanted to touch on the main event, Seth Rollins and
Vin
CM Punk.
Vin's been trying to talk.
Oh,
I don't know if you can hear me.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, got you. My fault. Go ahead, Vin. Sorry, I missed you. Go ahead.
No, no worry. Well, I miss you too.
Yeah, my God.
Oh,
That's my
y'all want a
fault.
hug?
Yeah, give me a hug.
That's
But
right. I will.
well, you know what?
Go
I
ahead,
would
Vin.
say let's hug at a WrestleMania, but I guess we're all going to get priced out eventually, so we can't meet up.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's first off, I get the one thing about Hogan that I do want to touch on really,
Yeah,
really,
sure.
really quick
Hmm.
is that can they please take his fucking beer off the mat? Like, can we have this be a one and done where they tried it once and now
Looks
they
like it's
booed?
multiple years from what people been saying.
Well, that's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
it is interesting that like the whole like, oh, they're doing the Royal Rumble at Saudi Arabia.
Hmm.
It is interesting to me. And I'm not calling out anyone in here because it's gonna sound like I'm trying to call someone out, but I'm not. When they were first doing the shows in Riyadh and they were doing like all the greatest Royal Rumble ever and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
back in 2018, 19.
Yep, 18. Mm-hmm.
Remember all the people that were like, "Oh, well, we're boycotting it, or we'll stream it and do it, but we're gonna give all the money to charity and stuff." I knew at that time that
Yeah,
this was just the first.
I don't know who did that. That wasn't me.
I knew at that time like this is just the beginning. That they're gonna ride this out, and then eventually these quote unquote glorified house shows are going to start having real matches on them, which they
Mm-hmm.
started to do. They started to actually put belts on the line at these shows. And now we're seeing, like, okay, we're not just doing some BS greatest Royal Rumble. We're doing the Royal Rumble there.
Yep.
And you're going to like it. And all the people who initially were like, no, we're boycotting. No, you're not. You're always going to come back around to the WWE. And they got us.
Yeah, they're getting WrestleMania then. I don't know when it's going to be, but they're going to get it. They're going to get it. They're going to get it there at some point. I don't know when. The Royal Rumble, I think, will probably be the litmus test to see how. I mean, all their shows do well over there because they're getting money pumped into the company to make it look like how it looks when they're over there in Saudi Arabia. Anyway, so
Oh
I
well,
think it's a matter of time
we
before
only
they
need
get
to
there.
look to the UFC because
Yeah.
let's also not forget the TKO. You got the UFC aspect,
Yep.
and they've been doing that for years. It's been Riyadh season forever over there.
Yep. Absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. Um, and yeah, thank you, Vin. Yeah, because I missed getting to you. So, yeah, the main event, Seth Rollins and CM Punk. For me, didn't expect anything less. It was an amazing match. I know I'm a Punk fan, but and a Rollins fan, but that match came off just exactly what I thought it would be. Um, it went very well. I did say going into that I thought the winner of that at some point soon, very much sooner than later, is probably going to be the World Heavyweight Champion. Um, it just feels like that's what's going to happen. The I do feel like Seth's about to snap. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I don't think we've seen the last of it. Even when it went off the air, if you for anybody that once it went off the air on Netflix, if you switched immediately over to the post show, like Seth's just sitting there, like in bewilderment, like he could snap at any moment, and then he just left. I think that's coming. As we talked about earlier, I think this was more so just a showcase to show people, hey, tune into this every week. But we're getting right back into the storylines next week, and this match was really, really good. It was WrestleMania worthy. It was probably what we would have gotten out of them had Punk not got hurt this past year and they went to WrestleMania and fought. So I thought it was really good, and I just think we're really going to get more out of this. I don't think this was a one and done with them. Slit, go ahead.
Yeah, man. I think Seth Rollins is the golden step stool, man. And I hate that for him. You know what I mean? Because look, this dude is from an all around perspective, like in ring, promos, whatever, wardrobe, character work, all the shit. Like he's got it all, but for whatever reason, man, they just never gonna see him like he's Starscream at best. You know what I mean? Like they won't. They just gonna never let him be Roman Reigns. And by the
You,
way, like
mm-hmm.
that's a great spot, right? Like a million people would love to be Macho Man. A million people would love to be Randy
he
Orton. You know what I
he's
mean?
Randy Orton. I was about to say that he's
But
Randy Orton.
right,
That's
right. But
exactly
but
what he
he
is.
in his mind, he's like, why can't I be Cena? You know what I mean? But the nigga is doing the Lord's work, bro. Like he
Yeah,
spent a whole year putting Cody Rhodes over, getting him ready for the main event. They got him doing the same thing for for CM Punk right now. And like it's one of the things where like don't give I understand it's a show and he's playing a vital role and I get that he's not in a bad spot from a performer standpoint, but I just feel like from what we know of Seth Rollins, he wants to be the one getting the glory. And I want that for him, man. You
right.
know what I mean? Because
It,
again, like bro, they just use him all the time to get the other niggas over, and I just kind
right,
of hate
Slick,
that
but
for him.
it sucks
But
though, Slick. But somebody's got to play that role. That's not a knock to him or anybody that has been
let
in that
Gunther do
role.
that shit. He boring as hell.
I get it. And sometimes you don't need somebody boring in that role, but you got to have somebody in that role. Everybody can't be the star, unfortunately. Yes, he has it, and he's had flashes of it where he's been the guy for flashes. But and I love Seth, but sometimes some people are just in that position when it's you had even back to the late '80s, you had the Hogan era, all those people that played second fiddle, Macho Man. You just said it. All those people that played second fiddle to him. I mean, you had the new generation where you had, you know, Sean was kind of in that position at first, and then he's probably the one. Him and Brett are probably the ones you could say broke out of that mold just in the era that they were in. That they were the guys playing the second fiddle, and then they were able to break out. So,
Right.
but other than
Sean
that,
and Brett, and then Austin and Rock was the only probably examples where there was
yeah,
really like
exactly,
it was really like a 1 and 1A back and forth at times. But for the most
yes,
part, like you get cast in your role and that's what it is. And again,
yeah,
I don't want to suggest like every 99% of the industry who's not named Roman Reigns would kill for Seth Rollins' career. He's had a great career. But
yeah, they would.
I just, you know what I mean? Like I said, I just feel like for him, I want to see him be the one to get that glory sometime. I'm tapping out. Great pod. Y'all are amazing. Have a good night.
Yeah, I know. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Slick. Always love having you here. No matter how much grief I give you, it's all in love. So, Justin, before we leave out, what did you think of the main event?
I thought it was really good. I like that it was hard hitting. I like that both guys were really taking chances. Like CM Punk did a jump over the top rope and almost like he was gonna blow out his knee. I know
Mm-hmm.
Seth sold a knee injury, but and then cracked CM Punk with a GTS, and then Punk cracked Seth at the end with his GTS, where you saw Seth get busted open. Like this
Mm-hmm.
was hard hitting. It wasn't clean hard hitting. It was more like I don't like you, you don't like me. I'm really gonna try to fuck you up, and it came off on camera really good. Punk winning, I guess it makes sense because we still got to figure out what the hell is this favor that Heyman owes Punk regarding
Yeah.
Roman and how that's going to play. Whether it plays out in the Rumble, where it plays out Elimination Chamber, maybe that's your Mania match. Who knows? Still early, but I thought it was really good. Where Seth goes from here, it's going to be interesting. I hear what Slick was saying, where like not everyone could be Roman. I think with Seth, I think to me is on Roman's level, but I think what keeps him out of that, we're gonna book him the same way. Sometimes it comes back to the injuries, man. And the best thing you can have is availability. And
Mm-hmm.
Seth's had multiple injuries with the knees, with that back, and sometimes it's like we want to keep you in this top spot, but all it takes is one round bump. You're probably gonna be out 6 months, and we can't rely on that. And it's not Seth's fault. Sometimes, in this business where one run bump, you take a serious injury, and with Seth, you just got that accumulation where like I was just watching this recently with Wrestle Dynasty and Wrestle Kingdom with like Naito, where like all those injuries just add up, and now all of a sudden you look at Naito, it's like, yeah, it ain't hitting the same like it was a couple years ago when it was like peak Lij Naito, and I worry about that with Seth, man. But moving into Rumble season, it's gonna be very intriguing what they do with Seth.
Yeah. It's he always gets that. Hey, we appreciate you type of match where he kind of ends up going over. Or last year was really that. Hey, thank you. I gotta think they do something good for him because he really was like kind of the MVP last year at Mania. So they really got to do something with him this year. But Justin, I think I'm going to wrap up here. This has been great. Everybody, we really appreciate, can't say it enough. We really appreciate you all listening, especially this time of the night. People got things to do in the morning, go to bed, and y'all stayed up after an already long Raw. So we appreciate the love, and we really do it because y'all engage with us. So we really appreciate y'all. I will say Thursday, 8:35 with the BRP crew on YouTube. Make sure you watch. That's where they'll be. We will be back next Tuesday because I don't think we're on this week because we did this tonight. But next Tuesday, 6:35. on Spaces right here, Black under the Black Wrestling Podcast handle. We will be doing Turnbuckle Talk. We do it every Tuesday. But this has been great. We appreciate y'all. I know Mimi's not here, but in the words, I will agree with her in saying that Cody Rhodes is great. I'm so glad he got his